This is my third video about the Cion Camera and the new log gamma curve that I have coded into a DCTL plugin in Davinci Resolve. And to install everything, I show you where you have to go in Davinci. In your LUT section here, you just right click there and hit Reveal in Finder. And you're gonna have your LUTs here, your LUT solder, and you have to place my AJA LUT here. And because the plugin works only with the studio version of Davinci Resolve, the free version doesn't have the DCTL folder. But with the studio version, you should have this, and it's going to be probably empty. And this is where you are going to drag and drop my files here, okay? You do not copy and paste the folder, but just the files. That's very important, otherwise it's not working, okay? So you take the 3 files and copy and paste here. I don't do it because obviously I already have the files. And then the power grade. The power grade, that's easy. You go to your gallery section, right click, import, and then you choose the file that I gave. Once it's done, you can just check one thing into your project settings. Be sure that in the color management section, you are using the Davinci YRGB color science with the timeline color space set with the Arri log C3. That's also important because it's gonna change how your tools are going to behave, okay? And the output color space, in this case, I have set the Rec 709 scene version because this video is going to be uploaded on YouTube. And once you have done that, you can update the list, but that's cool, but that works for the LUTs, but not for the DCTL file plugin. You can hit save again, and now you restart your software because otherwise you won't find the plugin. Now that you have installed the power grade, let's just click on apply grade and turn off what we don't need now, which is the S-curve, the SAT, and the exposure. So this is the AJA log gamma plugin, and in the effects panel you can get access to all the parameters. There is 2 versions of the log normal and the log matrix. The matrix is more celluloid look, and you have the contrast and the pivot here, and you can choose also to change the value of the input and output mid-gray. But do it carefully because you will see if I turn on the LUT, the S-curve, and the saturation, that if you want to change something here, that's the tone mapping, okay? And if you have to change something here, I recommend you to do it like by very tiny steps like this, okay? Don't put 2. If you do it, you're gonna lose the picture, okay? The default value are normally good enough to start with. For the saturation, there is the first version, which is simply the RGB mixer pushed at the maximum, and then you play with the key output here if you want to be less saturated or more saturated, okay? That's a very neutral way to do the colors. But my favorite one is this one, and here I show you the compound now. There is the saturation, the hue, and the luma. Don't change the value here, and just play with those 2 nodes. The warm green here is just a correction to correct, that the blue. You would see that with the Cion log matrix, the green goes a little bit too much on the blue direction, and to correct that, I have done this node, and the cold tints that just introduce a little bit some blue in the mid-tones, okay? You don't like it, you don't use it. That's up to you. And finally, at the end of the power grade, there is a simple, very basic D55 white point that you can activate or turn off. And the split tone effect, I will show you the function in another shot here. And so now the most important node of the power grade with the log one is the exposure and white balance node. That's the first one because I want this node to touch the linear gamma. And why? Because if you use the primaries color wheels here, you can use the gain to increase or decrease your exposure. And because it's linear, it will move in a proportional way, okay? For example, if you set 2 here, you are overexposing of 2 stops. That's really easy to understand. And same story for the color, the temperature, okay? If you need to adjust your footage, you can just go towards the blue, towards the warmer tones. And if you have skin tones in your shot, you have to be focused on the skin, and you do the white balance for the skin, and normally the rest should follow. So now let's apply this power grade on this shot. As you can see, the temperature is not really well balanced, so let's correct this straight away. Let's make it warmer. And you see, it pops straight away. Let's maybe add a little bit of contrast and play with the pivot. Maybe I reduce this. And let's go back to the exposure. I will push it maybe a little bit more, like this. That's fine, I think. And you see the trees, like I said, are a little bit too blue, and even the grass here. So let's go to the saturation compound node and let's activate the warm green. And you see that's subtle, but it helps. That's desactivated and activated, okay? If you turn on the cold tints, that's also subtle, you know, but it can give a good and nice look to your footage. And of course, if I use the D55 white point, everything becomes warmer, okay? For this shot, for example, let's apply this. Okay, there is a color crust because I was using one ND filter, so let's correct this thing like this. Okay, there is too much green. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Let's add a little bit of contrast, play with the pivot point. Let's play with the exposure again. Once again, let's change the green. I activate this node and you see the trees. That's well balanced now. Exit. And just to give you an example of the split tones, let's do the same thing here. And let's turn on the split tone effect. And you get good result quite quickly. Let me just adjust the white balance, the exposure, maybe the contrast, pivot, and you see in only 2 clicks you have a very good starting point to work with. And if you like this look, you grab still, you take a shot that looks similar, and you apply the grade, and you're good to go. This is another situation. Let's apply this. Let's change the white balance. Going so balance a little bit like this. I think that's quite okay. And you can also make the tints color. Or even play with the D55 white point. In this case, if you do it, you have to set up the white balance again. Okay. And here, for example, you can play with the color density. You see? So that's not a color grading tutorial, but that was important for me to show you the way I am working with my Cion footage using this AJA log gamma curve that I have just created, okay? And let's maybe push a little bit the exposure. In conclusion, I just want to say that this plugin is not a magic tool, but I think it can really help us to color grade our Cion footage. And just in comparison, I wanted to show you a few examples of a short movie that we have shot with the Arri Alexa Mini, not the LF, the normal one. And you see, for example, here, where is the shot? You see, this is a kind of very high contrasty situation, and if I turn off my exposure balance, you see, this is the starting point, okay? This is the log, this is the LUT with the exposure, saturation, and color grading, and you can say, ah, yeah, you see, Arri Alexa, yeah, the window, the guy in front of the window, we have everything. Yes, that's right, but we were working on it, and I even put some ND gels on the window. So don't think that's because you are using Arri Alexa that the life becomes instantly easier. No, you will have to work. And for example, in this case, I have redo the entire wire of the trailer, and I have changed every light bulbs inside. And you know, you have to shape light, and log cannot save you if you don't know how to shape light in a way. And you see, even if the cameras, the Cion camera and the Alexa doesn't share the same sensor, I think at the end, it's not day and night, you know, when you are looking the skin tones and how the color are. I think they are in the color rendition quite similar, and that at least that's not day and night. And even if you compare it to 35 millimeters, and this is one example, I have showed this sequence a long time ago, and look, if we look at the skin tones, for example, of this lady, and we go here, we compare, I think, once again, the rendition on the skin are quite similar, honestly. Sorry. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you are going to use this plugin and have some fun with it, and see you in the next video. Ciao.